Hello and welcome to Zero Trust Cyber Tips and Tricks. In today's video we will be talking about Mitre ATT&CK. If you're in the cybersecurity field, you may have heard of this framework, but what exactly is it and how can it be used to improve your organization's security? In this video series, we'll give you an overview of what Mitre ATT&CK is and take a closer look at the tactics and techniques used by attackers. Introduction to Mitre ATT&CK. Mitre ATT&CK is a globally accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques based on real-world observations. The ATT&CK knowledge base is used as a foundation for the development of specific threat models and methodologies in the private sector, in government, and in the cybersecurity product and service community. Mitre ATT&CK, short for Adversarial Tactics, Techniques, and Common Knowledge, is a framework that provides a comprehensive understanding of the methods and tactics used by cyber attackers. The framework is organized into a matrix that includes different tactics on the vertical axis, such as initial access, execution, persistence, etc. Part 1. Understanding reconnaissance. The adversary is trying to gather information they can use to plan future operations. Reconnaissance is the process of gathering information about a target in order to plan and execute a successful attack. It can be both passive and active, and its goal is to identify potential vulnerabilities, gather information about the target's network topology and configuration, and identify potential targets for further attacks. This is similar to the discovery tactic in the Mitre ATT&CK framework. Reconnaissance is typically the first step in an attack and is used to gain a better understanding of the target's environment and infrastructure, which helps attackers to identify potential weaknesses and determine the most effective methods of attack. There are various techniques that can be used for reconnaissance. These are some of them. Active reconnaissance. This technique involves actively interacting with a target's systems or network to gather information. This can include techniques such as network scanning, port scanning, and vulnerability scanning. Adversaries may execute active reconnaissance scans to gather information that can be used during targeting. Active scans are those where the adversary probes victim infrastructure via network traffic, as opposed to other forms of reconnaissance that do not involve direct interaction. Scanning IP blocks. Adversaries may scan victim IP blocks to gather information that can be used during targeting. Public IP addresses may be allocated to organizations by block, or a range of sequential addresses. Vulnerability scanning. Adversaries may scan victims for vulnerabilities that can be used during targeting. Vulnerability scans typically check if the configuration of a target host, application, software and version, potentially aligns with the target of a specific exploit the adversary may seek to use. Gather victim host information. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's hosts that can be used during targeting. Information about hosts may include a variety of details, including administrative data, name, assigned IP, functionality, etc., as well as specifics regarding its configuration, operating system, language, etc. Hardware. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's host hardware that can be used during targeting. Information about hardware infrastructure may include a variety of details such as types and versions on specific hosts, as well as the presence of additional components that might be indicative of added defensive protections, card, biometric readers, dedicated encryption hardware, etc. Software. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's host software that can be used during targeting. Information about installed software may include a variety of details such as types and versions on specific hosts, as well as the presence of additional components that might be indicative of added defensive protections, antivirus, SIEMs, etc. Firmware. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's host firmware that can be used during targeting. Information about host firmware may include a variety of details such as type and versions on specific hosts, which may be used to infer more information about hosts in the environment, configuration, purpose, age, patch level, etc. Client configurations. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's client configurations that can be used during targeting. Information about client configurations may include a variety of details and settings, including operating system, version, virtualization, architecture, 32 or 64-bit, language, and/or time zone. Gather victim identity information. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's identity that can be used during targeting. Information about identities may include a variety of details, including personal data, employee names, email addresses, etc., as well as sensitive details such as credentials. Credentials. Adversaries may gather credentials that can be used during targeting. Account credentials gathered by adversaries may be those directly associated with the target victim organization or attempt to take advantage of the tendency for users to use the same passwords across personal and business accounts. Email addresses. Adversaries may gather email addresses that can be used during targeting. Even if internal instances exist, organizations may have public-facing email infrastructure and addresses for employees. Employee names. Adversaries may gather employee names that can be used during targeting. Employee names be used to derive email addresses as well as to help guide other reconnaissance efforts and/or craft more believable lures. Gather victim network information. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's networks that can be used during targeting. Information about networks may include a variety of details, including administrative data, IP ranges, domain names, etc., as well as specifics regarding its topology and operations. Domain properties. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's network domains that can be used during targeting. Information about domains and their properties may include a variety of details, including what domains the victim owns as well as administrative data, name, registrar, etc., and more directly actionable information such as contacts, email addresses and phone numbers, business addresses, and name servers. DNS. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's DNS that can be used during targeting. DNS information may include a variety of details, including registered name servers as well as records that outline addressing for a target subdomains, mail servers, and other hosts. DNS, MX, TXT, and SPF records may also reveal the use of third-party cloud and SaaS providers, such as Office 365, G Suite, Salesforce, or Zendesk. Network topology. Adversaries may gather information about the victim's network topology that can be used during targeting. Information about network topologies may include a variety of details, including the physical and/or logical arrangement of both external-facing and internal network environments. This information may also include specifics regarding network devices, gateways, routers, etc., and other infrastructure. Spearphishing attachment. Adversaries may send spearphishing messages with a malicious attachment to elicit sensitive information that can be used during targeting. Spearphishing for information is an attempt to trick targets into divulging information, frequently credentials or other actionable information. Spearphishing for information frequently involves social engineering techniques, such as posing as a source with a reason to collect information, establish accounts or compromise accounts, and/or sending multiple, seemingly urgent messages. Reconnaissance is a critical step in an attacker's process, as it provides them with the information they need to plan and execute a successful attack. It's important for organizations to be aware of potential reconnaissance attempts and take steps to prevent them. For more information about reconnaissance, please go to Mitre website at https://attack.mitre.org/. In the next video we will talking about Mitre attack resource development. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more cybersecurity tips and tricks.